Hi, my name is Damon Wise. We're here at the Deadline Studio at TIFF. I'd like to introduce you to today's guests.
My name is Isabella Rossellini, and I play Sister Agnes in the film Conclave.
And my name is Edward Berger, and I'm the director of the same film.
Can you tell us in a sentence what this film is about?
Well, it's called Conclave, and that's what it is. It takes place behind closed doors in the Vatican, and it's about the election of a new pope. But it's mainly about all the political machinations that go on behind closed doors, as well as all the characters, including Isabella's or Ralph's character, sort of internal journey during that process.
So how did this project come to you? How long have you been working on it?
I've been working on it probably for 6 years with a wonderful writer, Peter Strawn, who's really, when I heard that he's writing it or that he wrote it, I said, I want to read this because he's really the best writer in the world, I think. His scripts are always very precise, but also really soulful, and I found it in Conclave when I read it. And with Tessa Ross, the producer, who bought the rights to the book and asked me and Peter to join the project.
Isabella, how did you get involved?
My agent called me. I don't know if it was your idea or a producer, but I got the script and I read it and I loved it, and I was very surprised by it, because if you want, is a ode, a glorification of doubt and mystery, and I was very moved by that.
Well, tell me about your character. Who do you play?
So I play a nun. And, of course, the church is run by mostly men, and the conclave is decided by the Cardinals. So the nuns are there to serve. And Edward photographed the film like a painting, with us being always in the shadows, but being a present, but not being there, until I have a very important scene where I said, I know my role as a nun is to be invisible. Nevertheless, God is giving me eyes and ears, and I denounce some of the intricate political corruption.
What made you think of Isabella for this role?
I wanted someone who, Isabella said it, unfortunately women in the church stay in the shadows and in the background and are silent observers. So I needed someone with a charisma, with an aura, with a natural authority, with a naturalness, and just someone who can appear on screen and I can watch her think and look, and without having many words, still leave an impression. And who would you think of then first? You think of Isabella Rossellini.
Well, tell me about the shoot. Where did you shoot the movie?
We shot it in Rome, not in the Vatican, because there's a big line on St. Peter's Square, and meaning crossing that line means all cameras are off, so you can't really look behind these walls. And so we created all the sets in Cinecittà. And, for example, the Sistine Chapel was built in the Cinecittà, the Casa Santa Marta, where they live, and during the voting process, it was built there. And then all over Rome with other locations.
How did you find the shoot?
I'm from Rome. I was born in Rome. I'm Italian, so it was fantastic to be back in Rome and with so many actors that I knew and were friends, like Stanley Tucci and John Lithgow. And I knew Ralph. We have friends in common, but I knew him a little less. But Stanley and John are very good friends.
What was it like being, there can't be many female characters in this movie. What was it like being a woman amongst these, in a very, very male-dominated society?
It was the church traditionally has, the man role is more, dominant than women, and women take a back step. That's the religion that requests that. But I went to school with the nuns, and so I knew that there was nothing submissive about the nuns.
Well, how much research did you do into this world? I mean, it's a lot in the novel. There's kind of a lot of work already done. What kind of dive did you take into the world of religion?
Well, we spent a long time in Rome researching and looking at places and talking to people. We had wonderful advisors from the Catholic Church, priests and teachers, university professors who helped us on on what supposedly goes on behind these closed walls. So there's a lot of mystery to it. There's an end to the research because no one will tell you how exactly the conclave works. but there's enough detail that you can find out like how the ballads look, how the urn looks, where they put all these things that are helpful to make the film feel realistic. And nevertheless, I don't think realism is the most important thing in a movie. It's as long as it feels realistic, it's always an interpretation of the actors and the filmmaker and the writer. And so we try to interpret or create a realism that feels right to us and to the audience.
Did anything change during the shoot? Did you improvise? I mean, it's a very, very what's the word? The story is quite methodical. Did you change anything, or did you just stick to the story as it was written?
Well, there's we developed the script for a long time, so we knew what we wanted. But then, of course, you have Isabella coming, you have Ralph coming, you have Stanley coming, and everyone has an idea of, or brings ideas. They're not always, align, but then you talk and find the right language, and you always discover something during a movie. The ending, for example, we discovered, while we were doing it. The last shot we discovered in research. So there's things that you discover along the way and that you want to keep open to. And yet the script, when I read it, it feels like a chess game, a very well constructed chess game. And you kind of want to mirror that in the movie. So I usually like to plan everything. Otherwise I get too nervous when she comes and I want to tell her like what I'm thinking, and then we can figure out together if we do it differently. But I would be terrified if I come to set not knowing what I would sort of want to do. So I really plan everything, but I try to stay open and then be open to on the day, just to the performances, for example, and adjust the camera according to how Isabella plays it, for example. But the movie is a very precise film. We wanted it to feel precise, so it's not really an improvisational film.
So it's been out there now, it showed at Telluride. What are the reactions to the film, and what kind of conversations have you had with people once they've seen it?
Well, I wasn't in Telluride, but you were there, and I just read very, very good reviews.
What's wonderful to see with this film, because obviously I've seen the film 700 times, and you kind of get immune to the effect of it. You just watch it and go like, okay, I would make this a little brighter, maybe this a bit shorter, this a bit louder, and you try to find the level that feels right to you, and then and you never know if it's the right thing until you show it to an audience. So it was a really big relief and a wonderful feeling, because it's scary, it's terrifying, the moment where it's no longer yours, but now it belongs to the public or to the people who go to watch it in the cinema. And this movie luckily is going to be in the cinemas. That's a wonderful thing for the film, because it's a film that really feels like a communal experience. You feel a lot of laughter. You feel a lot of oohs and ahs. There's a wonderful scene that Isabella does when she's very silent in the film, and then she finally has this big speech 3/4 of the way through, and she gets a big applause. There's people like, just because she voices, I think, what the audience thinks, and then they finally go, oh, finally there's someone who understands me, and they applaud her, and that's a wonderful thing to suddenly feel that people are really going with the film.
What would you like to say about the film? Why do you think people should see it? What do you think they will get from it?
I think what I loved most about the film is that we are always asked to have opinion and to know what's right and wrong. But this film is about doubts. There's a wonderful line that Ralph Fiennes has. It says, if there was no doubt, we don't need faith.
I think that's a little bit why all of us made the film, because of that line. I think that's what brought Ralph to the film. That's what brought you. That's what brought me to the film, because we can all identify with it.